If you have kids at home, this next segment is for you. This Friday, the newest batch of Disney Channel stars grown in the Disney Genetic Engineering Lab will be unveiled to the public.
Right. Now, Tracy, most of our viewers are already familiar with a lot of the products that have come out of the Disney
I
Lab.
am.
Yes. But how exactly do you create a Hilary Duff or a Miley Cyrus from scratch?
Right.
Well, we're going to find out exactly how it's done right now, because joining us live from the Disney Lab is one of their lead geneticists, Dr. Andrew Rourke. Welcome, Dr. Rourke. There's quite an operation you've got going on out there.
Well, thanks, Jim.
So the stars that we see on TV are actually grown right here?
That's correct. They're grown and developed here. We engineer their brains for advanced singing and dancing capabilities, even posing for photos. By the time they grow to desired size, these child stars are fully ready for the camera or the concert tours or whatever Disney chooses to put them in.
That is simply amazing. Now, how long does it take to actually create a star from scratch?
Well, not very long at all. We use the exact same DNA structure for all of our stars, and then we simply tweak minor details like hair color or skin tone.
Right, yeah, we do have some footage here of some of the well-known creations that have come out of your lab. Let's take a look.
Yes, well, that's model 6831-A, publicly known as Mitchell Musso, standard male base with a type 3 skin pigmentation.
Wow.
And that's model 6831-B. We gave him slightly thicker eyebrows and type 5 skin.
Well, so it's sort of like putting a puzzle together there.
Exactly.
Amazing.
Okay, here we've got some of the images of some of the newest models. We're going to be seeing a lot of these kids in the future.
It really looks like you have someone for every kid in America to love
Well, that's
here.
the idea, Tracy. Our writers find it very liberating. For example, our new model, Haley, is a singing, dancing, snowboarding, half Japanese, half Indian girl.
Wow.
Now, finding her in reality would be impossible.
Right, but sounds like a surefire hit to me. Oh, now this one's Zac Efron. I've seen him before.
Yes, Zach was actually one of our earliest
My
models.
daughters love him. I mean, he looks so real.
Actually, I think we could have done a better job with Zach. He could show more human tendencies. If you look closely, you'll notice there's a certain deadness around the eyes.
I do see that, yeah.
I'm sorry, it's hard for me to watch because all I see is all my mistakes.
Yeah.
Boy, he seems flawless to me.
Well, he's holding up, but there was a bug in that first batch, and as a result, Zach's skin will soon begin to dissolve.
No, poor Zac Efron.
All right. Well, it's simply amazing. Dr. Rourke, thank you so much for coming in and spending some of your morning with us. I can't wait to see some of these new creations
Absolutely.
popping out of the lab.
Businessweek magazine released its annual Air Travelers Report this week, with Prague's Franz Kafka International Airport ranking last in customer satisfaction due to long flight delays, poor service, and an overall oppressive, impersonal atmosphere. The report found the average delay at Franz Kafka International is 31 hours longer than the next worst airport. We spoke to several American travelers who reported spending weeks and in some cases months waiting for flights.
I asked the ticket person what gate my flight was at, and they said that the airline I was flying didn't exist, and everyone keeps calling me S.
The airport was also cited as difficult to navigate, with a list of complaints including curbside shuttle services, which loop around the airport before depositing passengers back at their starting point, and extremely long corridors leading to dead ends.
Gate B2 is next to gate B11, and gate B14 is in the F terminal.
Businessweek also rated Franz Kafka International among the worst airports in terms of customer service, calling the employees, quote, completely indifferent to travelers' needs.
If there is a problem, fill out complaint form and place it in an envelope addressed to the name of the hospital in which you were born.
In response to the ranking, the airport added a public address system in an attempt to clear up any confusion.
Departures arriving early and arrivals landing late may be canceled or delayed without a prior notice.
The airport also created a toll-free customer service helpline. But when our reporters called the number this week, they found it connected them to a hat store in Stuttgart. Travelers also report being frustrated by the airport's unusual security procedure, which includes a time-consuming personal interview.
The security guard asked me for like 80 minutes, "Are you who you say you are? Are you who you say you are?" And finally, he writes liar in the back of my hand and lets me pass.
Airport officials say the complaints are unfounded.
All problems are traveler's own. If you only make certain to properly follow proper protocols, no such problems would exist. Properly follow proper protocols.
The nearby Dostoevsky Hotel also received low marks from the passengers, a large number of whom checked in due to a flight delay and ended up murdering another guest at the hotel. Coming up, a new medical report warns getting screened for cancer is a leading cause of finding out you have cancer. Billionaires like Warren Buffett and Bill Gates are known for their charitable contributions, but not all great givers crave the spotlight. Last night at Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston, an anonymous individual gave an unprecedented donation of 200 human kidneys. The secret benefactor delivered his gift a few minutes before 4 a.m. this morning, as seen here in the security camera footage.
It's an amazing gift. The kidneys are so fresh, they clearly must have been removed within the last 24 hours.
The philanthropist sought no fanfare and left without requesting so much as a thank you.
Whoever did this is obviously very skilled with a knife, and it looked to me like they've done this before, maybe hundreds, thousands of times. We are just incredibly grateful.
The hospital's medical technicians have been working overtime to sort through the massive donation.
They left a note in the bag that indicated they might be making more additional donations in the future.
We're just really touched, and we hope this really inspires others to be as generous. We are especially in need of hearts, lungs, and brains.
It's sure nice to report on a positive story for a change.
Scientists at Tulane University's Primate Research Center announced they have taught a gorilla that someday it will die. Nate Meredith has more in the lab report.
Thanks, Dan. In an historic first, a team of primatologists has succeeded in teaching Quigley, a western lowland gorilla, the concept of mortality and his inevitable doom. Lana Burrows and Philip Townsend are the researchers leading the project.
When we first started with Quigley, he was just a normal, happy ape, not a care in the world.
So the first thing we did was we taught him patterns, like
Right.
red block, blue block, green block, over and over. Then it became a pattern of gorilla born, gorilla grow, gorilla die, over and over.
Right.
The researchers then showed Quigley photographs of dead and dying gorillas while communicating the phrases "you someday" and "no choice."
It took thousands of repetitions, but Quigley finally became cognizant of the correlation between himself and the decomposing pile of hair and flesh in the photo.
Quigley shared his feelings in a confessional after completing each exercise.
That was a great moment.
Quigley also began painting pictures like these almost every day. To make sure Quigley retains the awareness of his own demise, the team spends several hours per day reinforcing the certainty of death's arrival.
Quigley, you die. You will die soon.
The researchers say at first Quigley could only communicate rudimentary fears about his own death. But he soon moved on to expressing more complex emotions, like indifference and self-hatred. And just 2 days ago, Philip Townsend and his colleagues even witnessed what they believed to have been a panic attack in Quigley.
He was letting out these anguished cries and banging his head against the wall, and I just thought, we did it.
The Tulane scientists believe that we may be able to teach a gorilla to resort to alcoholism or even try to kill itself in as little as a decade. The scientists next plan to test whether the results with Quigley can be replicated with other species. They are in the initial stages of teaching bunny rabbits that they will all die.
You will both die.
These are thrilling times. For the Lab Report, I'm Nate Meredith.
Thanks, Nate. Scientists in Britain are conducting a similar study, teaching a mouse with a human ear grafted to its back what a freak it is.
The nation's leading manufacturer of ammunition, Steelhawk Incorporated, announced a massive recall today of jacketed hollow point bullets, which may not properly shred the internal organs of victims. When functioning normally, the tip of a hollow point bullet shatters into fragments, then cuts a wide and jagged path through the tissue and bone of its target. But due to a factory error, nearly 100,000 bullets with solid points were shipped to retail stores, resulting in a greatly reduced capability to explode flesh. Steelhawk CEO John Cullen announced the recall at a press conference this morning.
At Steelhawk, nothing is more important to us than the complete satisfaction of our customers when they maim or kill. Some of these defective bullets can leave an exit wound as small as a plum. That is unacceptable.
According to information released by Steelhawk, the first notice about the defective bullets came from a man who shot and killed his brother during an altercation at a county fair and was disappointed that the victim's face remained, quote, more or less intact. Frank Ehrman was among the hundreds of other dissatisfied customers.
You know, you spend good money for a hollow point bullet, you expect it to explode a head and a geyser of blood and brains. You know, if I wanted to kill someone without destroying the body, I'd use a hammer.
To address complaints like these, the company is also offering discount coupons for its newest product, Inferno bullets, which start a small fire inside of someone when you shoot them.
We understand that when our customers shoot a man, they want to see his liquefied organs pour out of every hole in his body. Give us another chance. we'll give you the lung-shreddingest bullets on the market.
Still, the effort might not be enough for many customers.
Those people over at Steelhawk ought to be shot in the face in front of their families.
Many gun owners have said the recall has been so frustrating they will no longer use bullets, returning to more low-tech methods like beating victims with spiked clubs or dragging them behind their cars. Moving on, Congress announced today the long-debated Darfur aid package will be used for a Darfur memorial instead. Evidence has freed a Panola, Georgia man today after 12 years in federal prison. James Marshall was sentenced to life without parole in 1996 for the mauling death of a state park hiker, Janet Kelly.
Now, I took one look at him and I knew he was the man that mauled and ate my daughter. Now that he's locked up, I pray to God that people can camp in that bear preserve without fearing for their safety.
Throughout his time in prison, Mr. Marshall maintained his innocence, claiming his jaws were not powerful enough to have inflicted the 6-inch deep bites covering Miss Kelly's body, and that he did not eat Miss Kelly's entire left leg and lower torso as charged. Panola police expressed shock at the news as the evidence against Mr. Marshall had been overwhelmingly strong. Marshall worked as a guide at the Panola State Park Visitor Center and was definitively placed within a mile of the crime scene the day after the murder, even though employees had been warned against entering the park due to a rash of bear attacks at the time. The jury took just 20 minutes to reach a verdict, which most attributed to the perverse nature of the murder's details, which included a half-eaten fish found at the crime scene, leading Mr. Marshall to be known as the Salmon Killer. The killer also scattered huge piles of feces around the campsite.
They say after he killed Janet, he spent 5 minutes rubbing his hairy back up against a tree to scratch it. This man is sick.
The mauling was so vicious that Janet's funeral was closed casket. Buried with her was the last photograph she took before she died, a self-portrait of her and 2 bear cubs. However, the DNA evidence has not exonerated Mr. Marshall of a larceny charge for tearing off the trunk of Miss Kelly's car in order to get to the food inside. Mr. Marshall faces a $5,000 fine for that crime. The Panola Police Department today apologized for the inconvenience they caused him and say they plan to reopen the case and, quote, find the black man who did this, unquote. Moving on, the Bob Dole Foundation is awarding scholarships to students who show potential to know who Bob Dole is.
Police in Columbus say they are no closer to tracking down Jessica Hagan, the Ohio State sophomore and member of Kappa Alpha Theta sorority, who was reported missing 10 days ago. After releasing a description of Jessica, who was last seen wearing a tank top, Ugg boots, and blue Victoria's Secret pajama pants with the word pink written across the back, authorities received over 13,000 tips, all of which have only led police to other students matching that exact description. Authorities issued a more detailed profile earlier today in the hopes of narrowing down the search.
Jessica has artificially whitened teeth, frequents college bars in the area, and has a small tattoo of a cross on her foot, even though she isn't really religious. Sorry, this is not helpful at all.
Authorities have also learned that Miss Hagan responds to Jessica, Jess, J-Bitch, and J-Slut, but really gets mad if you call her Jessie. This new information has helped narrow the search to 12,386 leads and has helped police in sorting through the hundreds of girls who have turned themselves in thinking they might be Jessica.
I saw on the news that they were looking for a nutritional sciences major who has side bangs and loves America's Next Top Model. So I called the police and I told them that I was fine. I just keep thinking that could have been me. You know, was it?
The social committee from Jessica's sorority spoke to reporters this week showing their support for their missing sister.
Jessica, we love you, bitch!
For now, police are following the latest lead as several witnessed Jessica with a fellow student at Ohio State. Either this man, this man, this man, this man, or this man. Police hope to aid the search by releasing Jessica's complete DNA sequence by next week, saying, quote, at a certain point, it literally becomes the only way to tell. Just ahead, the Huffington Post has launched a new print edition featuring articles torn out of other newspapers.
Video game fans are lining up today to be the first to purchase Close Range, the hotly anticipated video game in which players repeatedly shoot people point blank in the face. Onion News Network Tech Trends reporter Jeff Tate has more.
Thanks, Bobby. Close Range is already being hailed by critics as the most important game of the year. The first-person shooter creates an immersive, richly detailed world where players shoot people in the face with guns. Reviewers say it brings a new level of depth to gaming.
Just like great literature or film transports you to different worlds, Close Range transports you to a world where you fire bullets into an endless stream of faces.
Fans say it's the game's well-developed characters and storyline that make Close Range so compelling.
You just feel like you're inside this complex character who's thrust into a world where he has to blow people's heads off.
The plot follows AJ, a man with a mysterious past who must explode hundreds of thousands of human faces on a quest to save his kidnapped brother.
Who are you?
Someone who can help. I know where your brother is.
Tell me.
Look out!
But Close Range's single-player story is just the beginning. Its outstanding multiplayer mode offers unparalleled interactivity by allowing players to blast each other's faces off.
It's completely open-ended. You can shoot someone in the ear, but you can also shoot them in the eye.
With hundreds of hidden extras like side missions where players can take a break from shooting people in the face to shoot animals in the face, Close Range will keep players hooked for weeks. And with the sequel, Close Range 2, Chainsaw Dawn, continuing the epic story next fall, Close Range fans have even more to look forward to. For the Onion News Network, I'm Jeff Tate.
Thanks, Jeff. When we come back, a new cure for crying children, smothering.
In Modesto, California today, crowds turned out for the annual Modesto County Ninja Parade, which once again passed through town entirely undetected.
This is our 4th straight year coming, and we've still never seen a ninja.
According to an arrow scroll delivered straight into the heart of the city clerk, this marked the 30th year that the Modesto area ninjas have stealthily celebrated their heritage.
It's amazing how the ninjas can sneak by undetected on us. The kids love trying to be able to spot them and not being able to.
A record crowd of 3,000 people came out to not see the ninjas.
We were right where the ninjas probably were.
Best part was probably when I found the candy in my pocket. The ninjas must have came up behind me like really fast and took all this candy.
Despite its long tradition, only once in 1984 was any evidence of the parade's presence captured on film. And after the event, attendees were informed that the theme of this year's parade had been Shirotori Kuroi Kage.
I'm Juliana McCannis, sitting in for Clifford Baines, who was never that great of a host anyway. Scientists at a remote laboratory in Phoenix announced this week they have bioengineered a race of 75-foot tall, extremely strong crabs to assist with large construction projects. An op-ed in the New York Times says, quote, "We have absolutely no reason to be worried about these giant crabs at all." And they do seem as if they'll be very helpful, don't they?
Yes, I don't see why we should be concerned. The scientists who created these huge super crabs have promised there's no way for them to get out of their constraints and turn
harmless.
on their human masters.
Yeah, I trust
Absolutely.
the scientists. Yes. They know what they're doing.
You know, these crabs are going to be great for America's construction projects because I've read that these crabs are so strong that they can lift and throw objects as large as cars and passenger trains.
Absolutely. And, you know, the acid that the crabs shoot from their mouths up to 300 yards.
Wow.
That is going to be so helpful in melting down loose debris on construction sites.
The Wall Street Journal thinks that they are going to be a huge boost to the economy.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
can see the headlines now. Giant crabs descend upon Detroit, rebuild failing infrastructure, and revitalize
that
downtown.
would be
right?
so grand.
As I'm sure you read, the crab's inventor, Dr. Lester Murdoch, told Time magazine, "My army of super crabs will change the world forever. All shall know the name of Dr. Lester Murdoch."
And you know what? It is so
Dr.
inspiring
Murdoch.
the way he found success after that horrible military
I
accident.
know.
That left him needing the robotic claw for a hand. It would have made anybody else bitter and vengeful, but not him. He went on to give us giant, marvelous crabs.
But some people aren't so sure. There's a letter to the editor in the Washington Post today from a mild-mannered mathematician with an attractive female assistant, saying that we should be very careful not to allow our hubris to make us think that we can ever totally control nature.
Oh, that's ridiculous. I've had enough of these naysayers.
Oh, they just love stopping progress.
And the research has shown that these crabs are unusually intelligent.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, did you hear about the baby crab that solved the Rubik's Cube that a security guard had left on the table?
But
that's a smart crab.
Phenomenal.
Leslie, you're going to see the first public unveiling of the largest of the crabs tomorrow, the queen crab in New York City. Isn't that right?
Yes, we'll be crowded into the thousands down there in Times
You
Square.
are the luckiest
well,
person.
thank you. We're all
Wow.
going to be cheering. There's going to be a lot of flash photography. It's
I'm
going to
sure
be
the crabs
wonderful.
are going to love all that attention.
moment, we'll be hearing a statement from the Attractive Girls Union, which is still refusing to enter talks with Mike Greenman. For months now, the Attractive Girls Union has declined to negotiate with Mr. Greenman or even smile back at him when he smiles at them in a bar. Let's go live to that press conference now.
Girls Union has resolved to continue ignoring Mike Greenman and will remain firm on that stance until such a time as Mike starts dressing better or at least gets rid of that goatee. Although it is clear Mike is very eager to come to the bargaining table with us, at this juncture we cannot negotiate with an individual who stares at us for half an hour before coming over to tell us he likes our shoes and then stands there awkwardly. I will now take your questions.
How do you respond to the new pants Mike Greenman is wearing today?
We have not noticed them. Next question.
Joining us now for analysis is arbitration expert Nick Goldener.
Hello, Brandon.
Bad news here for Mr. Greenman today.
Yeah, but it's a real disappointment. Mike has tried to initiate talks with the Attractive Girls Union hundreds of times at bookstores, bars, the grocery store, parties, on the street, at concerts, in elevators, once in a dentist's office, which is very awkward. But in most cases like this, he would have at least gotten a fake phone number by now. But clearly these attractive girls are playing hardball here.
So they're not giving him anything, it seems.
They're not.
Well, there were reports last week Mr. Greenman was able to procure a brief parley with one union member at a Starbucks. Now, what was the result of that?
Well, Mr. Greenman inquired if anyone was sharing her table, and the official, whose sources say was, quote, hot enough to be a model, responded that she was pretty sure someone was sitting there.
Right.
She then went back to reading her book, effectively shutting the door on negotiations.
Oh, so at least there's some dialogue there. Could you talk us through the deal that Mr. Greenman is offering the Attractive Girls Union at this point?
Well, he's begun doing 5 to 6 push-ups per night and has announced plans to start jogging soon. That's in addition to what he's offered since the beginning of this standoff, namely being up for anything and a nice guy, unlike most of the douchebags the Attractive Girls Union repeatedly renews their contracts with.
But the union still refuses to budge.
That's right. If he were dealing with the slightly overweight, frizzy-haired girls union or the insecure Ugg boots over jean girls union, it would be enough.
Sure.
But the Attractive Girls Union is very powerful, and they know they don't have to compromise here.
Nick, the Attractive Girls Union has just been asked to cite the specifics of what they're demanding of Mike Greenman before they'll talk with him. Let's go to that now.
But not pretentious. Additionally, he must guarantee conversation topics outside of video games, his job at Barnes & Noble, and the New York Giants, which is the full extent of what he currently offers. And he must also commit to a censure on laughing at his own jokes.
A hard bargain there. Mr. Goldener, what's your take?
At this point, these demands are going to be impossible for Mike to meet. He has zero chance with the Attractive Girls Union, barring some unforeseen influx of money or if he joins a band.
Do you have any idea how long this standoff could last?
Well, it's been going on for Mike's entire life at this point, so there's really no reason to think it would change. He fucks up everything. Why does he even try anymore?
Well, we'll all be watching to see what happens.
I have a two-part question.
Yes.
When you saw Mr. Greenman in the bar last week, and when you smiled, and then when he waved, you laughed. Were those both at him?
I'm sorry?
Or were you looking at him when you smiled?
I don't remember.
Or were you smiling at someone else and laughed because you thought you were smiling at him when you waved?
I really don't remember.
Okay, second part. Why would you smile at him once and then not even react the next time he waved?
Okay, I don't know what the incident is that you're referring to. I don't remember. Any other questions regarding my smile or wave need to be directed towards my office.
I'm pleased to announce that NASA has entered the planning stages of a mission to approach that cute girl from the laundromat by 2018. Senior project scientists Dr. Adam Thompson and Dr. Carson Harper discovered the girl 3 months ago at a Houston area sudden save between dryers 4 and 5, giving her the name Thompson Harper, number 3499102. Dr. Thompson?
Thank you. According to our observations, Thompson Harper becomes visible for 70 to 90-minute intervals every Wednesday night. She masses between 30 and 60 kilograms, and her eyes are the color of magnesium iron silicate. She is attractive, and based on observed interactions with laundromat employees, she is not cold or lifeless.
The approach will be implemented in 3 phases. 1, planning, which will take an estimated 8 years. 2, execution, which will take 4 to 12 minutes. And 3, results, which, depending on the success of phase 2, could lead to anything from naked showering together to marriage.
The mission will cost an estimated $900 million. The team is in the early stages of development of a joke, which we can use to break the ice. It is a casually humorous observation about how socks seem to disappear in the dryer. The advantages of this topic are twofold. It is specific to the laundromat setting, and if successful, we can transition to level 2, in which we refer to dryers as the black hole for socks. This will allow us to segue seamlessly into talk of space. a topic about which we are extremely comfortable speaking.
We also have a dedicated task force developing trendy new clothes for maximum impact upon approach. These projects are on track to be completed by 2015, and when finished, will introduce us to a whole new world of lady interaction.
We'll now take questions. Yes.
How do you respond to critics who believe the organization is risking another tragedy like the 2002 Girl at Borders bookstore disaster?
Well, none of us want to relive that moment.
And we've put in place protocols for this mission that should prevent a similar outcome. For example, should the interaction become compromised to an unsalvageable degree, a propulsion ejection system can be deployed, which will launch our men out of the laundromat and clear of any potentially embarrassing situation. If that occurs, we will move on to our backup plan, using the Hubble Space Telescope to take higher resolution photos of her and then masturbating furiously while hating ourselves for it.
Yes.
Is this mission connected to the other NASA mission to locate and marry Scarlett Johansson?
No, that mission has been canceled. It was found to be infeasible and just stupid, really. Stupid.
Okay, thank you all for coming.